Hello, my name is Benjamin Schultz. I'm doing a quick tutorial for my fellow colleagues here at Morrison Academy, Taichung, Taiwan, Taipei, and Kaohsiung. A disclaimer I want to first say is that not all of the things that I'm showing here might be considered basic, or hey, that's not all the easy stuff. Once again, this is just some of the stuff that I found very helpful and beneficial, and so if it doesn't really fit what you need, I apologize for that, but hopefully you can get something out of this. So I'm going to first open a new spreadsheet here. I'm just going to name the spreadsheet test for the time being. So feel free to follow along if you want to do that. Okay, so I don't know why I just did that. We'll do test. Now, with that there, let's start with some simple formulas first. Okay, these are kind of like some simple tricks I like to do. So the easiest way to use a formula is actually if you go into a cell here and you type equal. If you type equals, that then allows you to enter formula. So the first formula we're going to try is random. You might have heard of this, random EQ, random average, random between, which is the one we're going to use. Random between allows you to basically allow Google Spreadsheets to generate random numbers. So I'm going to have 1 to 1,000 just to show a wide range. I'm going to close it with brackets since it's kind of like a code. And actually, let's move this down a little bit. Let's move one down. I'm going to take away the top one. Now you can notice it changes a lot, and that's just how the formula is set up because you want it to be random. So each time you refresh, if you press Control or R or Command R, it's going to refresh. I'm going to leave the first line empty for future things we're going to do. Now, I want a lot of random numbers, so I'm going to pull this guy down. So feel free to try that. Okay? And I want a few more columns as just rows that are filled. So I'm going to go all the way to G. So here are all my random numbers, and they just keep boom, 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 generating. If I reopen the document, or press Control R or Command R. Okay, so on the top here, I'm going to put count. The next one, I'm going to put sum. The third one over, I'm going to put average. Yes, spell it right. And then I'm also going to put minus, okay? Feel free to do the same, so this can kind of help. Okay, so count is actually the next formula we're going to do, and you can probably guess it's going to count. So I'm going to press equals and count and click on the first one, or just press enter. And so it tells you how to put in the values here. So this is what I'm going to do. I want to count all the values in the section. So I'm going to do from A, then colon 2. Is that right? Did I do that right? Yeah. Should have been A. Yeah. Should be A. A2 to G15. Let's try that. And I'm going to end the brackets there. And it's going to give me 98. So there should be 98 numerical values. Basically, there's a number here. Each column, each cell is a number. So I have 98, which is about right. So let's take one away. Let's see how that does. 97, which is right. So we're going to actually copy that back. Good. Now sum, as you can probably guess, is actually adding all the numbers together, which is also kind of simple. So as you can guess, we press the equal. Now we're going to type in sum and sum of a series of numbers and or cells. As you see, there's a lot you can use here, which we're not going to get into. But we're going to just type in sum, and we're going to do the same thing. You can also click. I don't think I showed this before, but you can actually click all the way on the, what is that called? Let's do that again. Apologize for that. So let's do sum. I'm not really good with clicking, I guess, apparently, but you can click and just basically drag it along or pull it along. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to press enter. Or finish the brackets, press enter. This is our total sum, 50,000 something. If we refresh, it's going to change because the numbers are changing. So it stays within this range, it seems like. Now, average, as you can guess, you can get the average. So we're going to do average. Numerical average value in a data set, ignoring text, right? So I'm going to hit enter. It's going to ask for the values again. So this time I'm going to type it. I'm going to do A2 to G15. Finish it off. There's the average. Now minus, as you can guess, it's going to be the difference between two numbers or data sets, right? So we're going to do equals minus two numbers. So I'm going to do value. I'm going to actually take A and B. So I'm going to do A. Actually, let's do F on purpose. You can hit enter, and now since the number changed, it's a negative number, which it will change depending on what your number is. So, okay. Kind of cool how these numbers always change. So those are some very basic formulas, okay? Now, sometimes spreadsheets, they can get kind of boring. Like, you got, okay, it's not bad. You can bold these, but it's still kind of boring. So Google, they've done a really nice job of like helping you spice up or make it look more beautiful, or your data sets or your spreadsheets. And one of the easiest ways to do that is actually if you go to the coloring here, click on the fill color. If you go to alternating colors here, click on this guy. By default, you have these styles here. And so you can like, whoa, sweet, I get to choose all this. It's kind of cool, right? So I'm going to actually do A1, and I'm going to actually go to K500. You'll see why in the future. And I'm going to actually click done. Actually, I'm going to leave this open. Now, once again, these colors are okay, but what if you want some more variety? I like to go to Color Hunt. Now, once again, you can use this for any project, any coloring scheme you need. It's kind of a popular thing. It's a plugin. Didn't like the plugin in Chrome, but the best part is you have all these color palettes that go together. So for example, let's take a look at this guy here. I'm going to copy this color. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to add a custom color. And I'm going to change the header to this color, a pink, not bad. Now I'm going to go back here. Which one did I start? I'm going to get, so once again, it might select that one too. So you want to get the next color code, copy that, go back here, go to color 2, custom, put that guy in there, hit OK, and we're getting we're going somewhere here. It looks quite good actually, right? So we're going to get, once again, click out of that guy, get the third color, highlighted, good, copy that guy, go back, we're going to put this guy in. Oopsies. That's not what we wanted, I think. And I think I got 2 colors. Yeah, that's right. And there you go. So we have 3 colors. But once again, I think the pink's still a little too bright. So I'm going to take... Did I not get that one? No, I did not get that one. That's my fault. So I'm going to copy the lighter blue and put it down here. And that should actually help. Good. Now I'm going to actually change the header to the gray, wherever the gray is. And what I'm going to do for the headers, the actual lettering, I like to change to the brighter color, which actually helps, I think. Personally, this is how I would do it. Once again, the colors look a lot better than what Google provides. Takes a little time, but it's doable. Okay, enough for me blabbering. So let's close Color Hunt, get back here. So this is alternating colors. It really helps with spicing up your sheets and all that. And so since we're not going to be needing L through M, or let's go a little further out just in case. So we're not going to need anything from R to Z. So we're going to select those all. And we are going to actually, where's that? Delete? Yeah, we're going to delete them so it's easier to navigate. Okay. So we have basic understanding of some very basic formulas, easy things to do. We choose some colors. And let's see. We're going to next jump into the conditional formatting, which you might have seen in here too, conditional formatting, which is also very helpful. So once again, first select conditional formatting, and you want to apply a range. And once again, I want this data set, this random data set range. So I'm going to go from, actually that's incorrect. We want A2, right? So A2, semicolon, or the colon, yeah. And then we're going to go to G15, and format cells if it's not empty, contains, data is greater than. So let's just go over 100. Anything that's over 100, let's do a little high, maybe 300. So greater than, let's put 300 as a value. And I don't like this color. So we can change the color, but let's just use red for now, or the background fill. So all these numbers that are greater than 300, they're going to show up as this, I don't know what the color that is, skin color. So once again, and oh, it's refreshing my page, that's right. And as you can tell, it changed again. Now heading back to conditional formatting, you can add multiple rules. So if you like using spreadsheets and you like adding formulas, you can use this as a grade book. And you can actually have students' grades show up with red for like failing, green for over 90, etc., etc. And you can actually have a color scale. So if you have a color scale like that, it doesn't show up that well because I changed the colors, but basically the higher the number that over 300 is going to be the darker green. Lighter or closer to that is going to be the lighter green. So we have conditional formatting down. Okay. After formatting your cells, sometimes you realize, hey, these are just numbers and they're 3 digits. You know, it'd be nice if I could, like, you know, move that down. But then what about the rest and all? That's kind of a pain. So I'm going to undo that. One of the easiest ways I found to resize columns that you can look online too is, let's say I'm going to select everything. You select them all, then you actually move your mouse above, and then if you're like, hey, what's this? Then if you move it like halfway, let's say to the letter, they'll move together. And hey, you can actually move it more because they're just only 3 digits. But once again, if you have longer digits or a few more digits than just 3, you might run into some problems as you see here. But for the sake of this, we're going to leave it here. Now, what if your average, since you know there's a point, it's, you know, 3 digits and a point something, what if you just want to change this one? You can move it here. But what if you're like, oh, it's a little off. I want them to double that. You actually can. So if you select it, first select the column, right click. You can click on resize column actually. And 50, if you work on numbers, let's go 100. Hey! And only this column is there. So once again, if you're doing a lesson plan or a sheet or something, you can actually resize it the way you want. Okay, continue on. Now, another fun thing you can do is you can actually collapse some columns or rows, and this is actually very helpful. So let's say we have a few hundred, which we will in a little bit. So I'm going to first do this. I'm going to take these few rows, and then if I right click on them, I can actually, where is it? Hide. If you hide those rows, you notice 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 16. Like, hold up, what's going on here? Now, another great tool for you to have is actually freezing rows or columns. So the easiest way to do that is actually if you hover your mouse on the top left here, as you can see. If I pull this guy down, so let's actually create some more data. Let's go down a little bit. Now, if you notice, after I froze the row on top here, so let me undo that again, okay? So if we go to the top, let's move this guy back up. Let me get the hand there, boom. So if I scroll down, boom, it doesn't follow. The row does not follow down. But if I move it down or even 2, if you scroll down, didn't happen. Let's do that again. So if I scroll down, those 2 are going to stay there. So you can keep going. If you have a huge document, you can keep going down and like, oh shoot, what column was the header or their email or their first name was? You can do that, and that should be very helpful. Now there's another way to do that. So if you go under View, this is the other way. You can go Freeze. No rows, 1 row. So then if you notice this little gray line here pops down, it works. Go back to Freeze, no rows. You can go up to current and columns too. So let's go to, you know, G. So we do that, they all stay there. Very simple. So that's one way to do it. So we're going to do no rows, and we're going to go no columns, just for the sake of that. Okay. Now, let's get rid of these guys for the time being. Get rid of those guys. Fabulous, like the blue. So let's say you're collaborating on a document and you want to help people, or you want to put a note to yourself. So that's one way to do it. And you're like, oh, I know how to do a comment. That's a good way to do it. But first, we're going to actually try a note. So if you insert note, just you can type anything. Watch out for this guy. Or you can put anything you need. If you press enter, it basically can type whatever you want. And if you notice, there's a black line above it. So as I was saying, you can leave a note there and it shows up like this. Now you can also comment. If you want to do a comment, you right click and you can press insert comment. And I can do tag or tag this later. And the best part about a comment is you can actually tag people. So for instance, I could tag Douglas, our principal, Mark Griffin. If I do that, and then if I assign it to him, he's going to get an email notification saying he needs to take a look at the cell, and it'll share it with him automatically. That's one way to do a comment. Another way is also on the top right here. Click on this guy and do comment. Comments overall are more important from my understanding because you can tag people and notify people of specific cells or ranges within a spreadsheet. One of our last portions for some of the more advanced, more simple. I think it's still kind of a simple formula. So we're going to do an import range, okay? So I'm going to first pull up a document, I'm going to pull it up right now. I'm going to show you it before I bring it in. So this is an old checkout form we've had. So it's been a while. It's kind of scary, a lot of stuff. So I want to bring that in here. I want it all in the same document. So if I change anything in this document, it also changes here. So if I'm doing work and I show my boss or keep notes on stuff, he wants the most updated. I want to keep sharing. But if I have one that I keep doing myself and have this pull into my boss's document or my students that I'm watching over, they just need to pull it in once or basically allow it. So this is what we're going to do. So the formula is very simple. Once again, you press equals and you're going to put import. You can do import. You can do HTML too. Very fun. You can import data. Okay. And so once again, it gives you what you need, the URL. So I'm going to go back to this one. So I'm going to copy the URL all the way to edit, I believe. Copy that. Going to go back here. I think, yeah, edit. So remember, you need the bracket signs. Paste that guy in there. Not bracket signs, I'm sorry, parentheses. Then comma. And this part here is the sheet and the range. So what's the sheet here? It's called form responses 1, and it's syntax sensitive, so it needs to be exactly the same. So I'm going to first type in form responses 1, double check. That looks about right. And then you need the exclamation mark for the page, I think. And then the range. So I'm going to do A1. So A1 to, what do we got? We have A1 to, let's go down to K100. A1 to K100, let's try that. And I think you need that again. Is that right? Yeah, you need that. So I need parentheses again around the form, beginning of the page name, and then I'm going to close my brackets, press enter. Now by default it's going to say ref because you need to allow it. And you're going to press allow access, and you're going to see some magic. Now once again, the formatting is all off unless if you format these cells, like the spacing, the font, for it to actually match this guy over here. So this is a great way to import information. So if you change any information in this document, it's going to automatically change here, which is a great way to monitor, to have things sent out to other people, and you have a master sheet of watching all the things happening in your groups, departments, you name it, all for free. Just the initial setup might take some time. So that's it for the basic stuff of, what is this called? Basic formulas and some stuff, some little more advanced stuff you can do and really spice up your sheets. Okay, now I'm going to open another file. Okay, I'm going to open another spreadsheet. And I believe I shared a document with you guys. Now, this is some cool stuff. I'm going to do API test. So API, if you're not familiar with the term, I believe it's called Application Programming Interface. It allows different programs to talk to one another without that much stress, programming, or whatever you want to call it. Basically, it allows two programs to talk together and all that. So the cool thing about Google Sheets is that it's online, so it can pull data from other databases that are open source or open. So how do we do that? We can actually program it. And don't worry, we're not going to do that much programming. So we're going to first go to Tools. And we're going to go to Script Editor. Basically, a script editor is everything that runs in the background of a Google Doc or Google related stuff. It's basically programming language. So when you open up, it's going to look a little scary, but don't worry. Now, I should have given you, what's that called? A folder. Let me first find that folder before I lose it again. So it should look something like this. So I have this here. It should be AppScript code. And I want you to go into Numbers API. I want you to copy this and then go back to here. Make sure you press Control All or Command All. Paste that in there. And I want you to just name it, let's do numbers. I'm going to click OK. More than usual. There you go, numbers. Now you're going to click Run, or preparing for execution. And yes, review the permissions, what it's going to do. Use your account. Click Allow. Okay, it's going to say that, but it should be fine. So if you go back to API test, refresh this guy. Now give us some time. Good. Now if you notice on the top here, Custom Numbers API menu comes up. So this is all programmed actually in the code we just put. So if we just do this, display random number fact, boom, 92 is a number of stories in the something Shuzhou Tower proposed to be built in Shanghai, China. Do it again. So basically what this is doing is going from the script editor here, and the script here is actually telling Google Sheets where to pull information, where to put it. So it says basically this is where it's pulling from, hvnumbersapi.com random.trivia. You can actually look this up. So if we copy this, let's go to a page, put that in. It shows up. If you refresh it, a bad gateway, it changes again. So this is basically connecting to a database, which is really cool out there. And once again, I'm not going to get into detail, but if you look at the code, it might look a little scary at first, but basically it's telling response get content text, responses get content text, spreadsheet app, get active spreadsheet. That means where the active spreadsheet is, which is back here, this guy. And then get ranges sheet +11 set value fact. Basically it's telling you to put it in the next column one after another, one after another. So this is some basics what you can do with programming interfaces, or basically APIs and Google Sheets. And since it's connected to the internet and you have this in there, you can do a lot. And it's easy because there's cells. Cells, it's a framework, and it's easier for Google and other things to work off of. Hope that helped, and hope you guys learned some stuff. If there's still time, I do one with about iTunes, which I can actually, I'll show you guys that right now because I actually can show you. So let me first put this back here. Let's get the script away. I'm going to go back to, where's that? Let's see. I should be able to pull that out. Give me a minute. I'm going to find that out. Where is that guy? Okay. So pulling this guy up. Sorry, I had to find it. So this is really cool. So this is the same thing. We're using app script. So I'm going to first close the test one. If you notice, there's custom iTunes menu. So by default, I'm going to actually put in an artist here. So let's say Bon Jovi, right? And we can type in here, get artist data. Give it a few seconds. And it's actually going to pull from the iTunes database or the API, and you can actually listen to it, surprisingly. If you look, you pull it open, give it a few seconds. Okay, it downloaded, I suppose. So you can listen to the preview. Really cool in my opinion. Of course, you can do a lot more. There's a lot of mathematical things and scientific things there. With APIs, there's a lot you can check out. There's going to be a link in the description for Ben Collins. He's a great guy. Free stuff, how to use API, create amazing spreadsheets that work for you and get what you want and store what you want. Very professionally done. A lot of this stuff is free. Some of the extensions or plugins he talks about do cost money, but they can create phenomenal things. I'll put that in the description. Hope you guys learned some stuff, and right before we head out, let's actually look at the script editor. Now, the script is a little scarier compared to what we saw. So it's really long. It's actual coding, and it shows you where everything needs to be put and all that. Won't go into detail. Look at that on your own time, and I hope that helped. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in.